Okay, so we're going to do a video on the humerus x-ray. We're going to do 2 projections. It is used with the wall bucky. The tube will need to be in detent at 40-inch SID, and we're going to do an AP and a lateral projection. So for this projection, we're going to use a 14 by 17 cassette. We're going to put the red part at the top. I already have my tube in detent here, and you can kind of see both the lights are already on, which is an indication in the cathode room that you are in detent. So before I get my patient, I'm just going to kind of judge where I think her humerus might fall, and then I'm going to set my room up so that I am with the patient the least amount as possible. Okay, so for this exam, we're going to use a lap apron. And then I'm going to have the patient put her back up against the board. She's going to bring her hand out so that it's in the supinated position. And then I'm going to take my tube and just kind of center it to where I think the middle of her humerus would be. Now what you want to do is get her epicondyles of her elbow. You want to get them parallel to the IR. So you have to turn her hand just a little bit more. Now you don't have a ton of room. Your humerus is pretty long. So one of the things that you can do once you have your tube and your bucky aligned is you can actually turn your collimator, and it'll give you just a little bit more room. You're going to basically be using this using the IR diagonally. That'll kind of elongate your space, and you'll be able to get the elbow and the top of the shoulder. Okay, now we want to make sure that their back is flat up against the IR, their elbows flat up against the IR, and again those epicondyles are parallel to the IR. Now you can collimate in pretty close with this because we don't really need anything other than the humerus. I'm going to attempt to put my right marker on here. Lateral aspect, right? Yes, and I'm going to put it on the lateral aspect of her arm, which actually is going to go up here. Okay, and then I'm going to shoot this exam at 75 kVp. Okay. And then for the lateral, we really don't need to move the tube or the bucky much. We just really need to move the patient. So for this one, we're going to have the patient bring her arm like this. And the goal here is to get the epicondyles so they're perpendicular to the IR. So the first one was parallel and the lateral is going to be perpendicular. And what you don't want to do is have the elbow sticking out really far and the shoulder all the way back, or vice versa. So you have to get everything in a very flat plane so that there's not going to be any rotation. So you can kind of manipulate their arm however you need to in order to get it that way. And this is looking pretty good right here. Everything's kind of in a pretty good line. And again, you can see I have a little bit of light on her elbow and a little bit of light just above her shoulder. So I'm going to get the entire humerus on this exam. So again, you're going to mark it. Here. I'll turn this light off so that you guys can see exactly where it's centered. Actually, I can probably move that up just a little. So you see exactly where it's centered, and make sure that it's right here in the middle. Make sure that you have light on under the elbow and above the shoulder. And you can always twist this and make sure that you're lined up with your IR. Okay, and those are the 2 projections. This one's also going to be done at 75 kVp.